In his view, a professor of law at the University of Lagos, Akin Oyebode, minced no words in stating that Nigeria may be up for more surprises in the change regime. For the first time, things are changing in the National Assembly, and in the upper chamber we have the Senate President emerging from the ruling party and the Deputy Senate President emerging from the now opposition party, the PDP.
Today, things have gone all right. I don't envy his position because he seems to have demonstrated sheer opportunism, which might actually be counterproductive and dysfunctional. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled that you cannot change your party and remain in the legislative arm. So it's difficult for him now to abandon the APC and go back to the PDP. Definitely the APC will go for his skin. But in the circumstance, maybe he might be visited upon with suspension, not outright expulsion, because the APC now is in tatters as a political party. It seems the party does not cohere, and a party is an aggregation of forces with the ultimate aim of capturing power. Now, if there are dissidents within a party, then they have to be sanctioned. Otherwise, the party will lose its raison d'etre. So quite sincerely, I understand what the party bigwigs are saying about the necessity to whip members into line. But I think they too asked for it. I don't think it was well managed. I'm talking of the straw poll they had, which gave rise to the spectacle that we all saw. I think people will be mortified to see a party that people had a lot of stock on going into shreds. And I don't know. In fact, it might become something that could bring the roof down on the 8th Assembly.
While the president congratulated those who made it to the leadership position in the National Assembly, he also mentioned in that statement that he's ready to work with anybody. He is not concerned about those who are picked to lead the National Assembly.
That statement will continue to haunt him. The refusal to acknowledge the political debt that he as president owes to certain constituencies. You must know that for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we are having a handshake from the savannah to the southwest. People might start claiming that their Mercedes is bigger than yours in terms of who delivered more votes to Buhari. But the fact is that without the southwest playing the role it did, Buhari would not have been president. And it's not the first time Buhari is running for office. He's done it 3 times before. But this time round, he could get the support of a very important flank within the political spectrum. I'm talking of the Southwest. Those prophets of doom who had said that the Southwest would live to regret the embrace with the Hausa Fulani, I might now say their forecasts are coming to pass. That having gotten power, the North now wants to checkmate the Southwest and put the Southwest in its place as a mere inferior ally, and that will not be allowed to call the shots. But as I said, the prophets of doom are gloating and saying that we told you so. And Buhari has to do a lot of recovery in terms of damage limitation. Because if he loses the groundswell of support in the various areas of the country so soon and so fast, then I'm sorry, he's going to live in turbulent times in terms of carrying out his program. I think the Buhari train came with the mantra of change. Is this the type of change that you want, where an opposition member becomes the deputy president of the Senate? It's not done anywhere. But in Nigeria, you don't put anything beyond Nigeria. There's always something new coming out in Nigeria to parody plainly the wise. So what Buhari, whether he likes it or not, has to do is to reassure the other constituencies that brought him into power that they are not alienated, they are not sidelined. And I'm saying this in the context of his nominees for ministerial appointment. And you see, in Nigeria, ministers are not equal. So we look at who you want to nominate for which ministry. Because if we see more of the same with the Hausa Fulani domination of his cabinet, then it might all end up being dysfunctional, counterproductive, and in fact, disappointing. So he has to go back to the drawing board to, as I said, engage in damage limitation, to give assurance to the generality of Nigerians that he's actually not for anybody, but for everybody.
51 other senators, including Dr. Saraki's main challenger, Habman Lawan, who were absent at the inauguration in the Senate, had attended a meeting called in the instance of President Muhammadu Buhari to resolve the issues that engulfed the APC camp over the battle for the top seats in the federal legislature. That meeting never held, as the president never showed up.
They would have been disenfranchised if they were not invited, if they were not informed, and if a deliberate, conscious, and systemic action or effort was put in place to ensure that they were not part of that process. And from the fact before us, none of such happened. And democracy is about free choice. Democracy is about the freedom of assemblies, freedom of movement. You decide where you want to be or you don't want to be at a particular point in time, even when constitutionally there is a requirement for you to be there. I want to believe that the 51 APC members that were not there were only exercising their constitutional freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and freedom to move about, and freedom of choice. And that freedom of choice took them to somewhere else, where that was not where they were supposed to be at that point in time. And whatever the consequences, actions and reactions are equal and opposite. We have seen their actions, the consequences is what we are now discussing. And for me, they have nobody but themselves to blame for that.
And now to the Green Chamber. It's a full House of Representatives with very dramatic scenarios.